Hi, my name's Simon. Welcome to the channel. So this is my new A7IV, straight out of its box. We're going to have a quick look at it now and power it on. There's only really four things we need here. We need the lens, which is, in this particular case, it's a Tamron 28-200, and there's other videos on that lens and there'll be more. Clearly the camera, the battery, and in my case I've chosen for a CF Express Type A. This one happens to be 80 gig. So let's have a quick look at the camera. What you can notice immediately when you start opening up some of the compartments is the weather sealing. This particular compartment's got the two card slots. The top there's either an SD card or a CF Express Type A, and this one's an SD card down here. So you can have one or two cards, and you can have fast or slower ones. Clearly the battery, nothing particularly special goes in there. And again, around the edge of this, there's like a rubber, like a gasket to keep the water out. I try not to go shooting photography too much in the wet, but every now and again you get caught out in the drizzle. It's got a number of different ports. This one I think is really quite clever. So this is the 3.5mm for the record microphone. Now interestingly, they've clearly learnt some lessons here, because if I open the screen, what you can see is it keeps well clear of where that particular port is. And this is the articulating screen. So if you're a vlogger, you've got the screen facing forward there and the camera. Some people like that. Some people prefer the type of screens that pull out. Personally, I like these style of screens. I think they're much better than the ones that come down, which is rather like my Nikon Z50 here, which is a super little camera. But that screen doesn't articulate. It comes down and it will fold flat. So you can use it for vlogging, sort of. But the problem is that when you turn that round and you've got that on a tripod, it's a bit of a pain. It's not too good. So I just don't like those as much. I think the flippy out screens are far more versatile. Other ports you've got here, we've got the monitor, headphone monitor. Within here you've got USB, USB-C, and also micro USB. And in here, which everyone's raving about, full-size HDMI, and clearly you get a much better, more robust connection with a slightly larger plug. The other thing which I think is quite interesting as well, there's a little weatherproof cover on top of the hot shoe, and as you can see, Sony have their own particular take on the pin format of a hot shoe. But of course this one in here, it's actually an intelligent one, so it's got some connectors so that you can power, or not power, but you've got intelligent devices that can come off here, and there's a lot more control of the camera over the devices. And this little cover is all part of the weather sealing, so it normally sits on there. The other thing about this camera, which again is not surprising, there is no onboard flash at all. There is no button to press and a little flash pops up. There is an onboard flash on my Z50, which works, but I have to say, you know, it's a bit toy. You know, the light you get off is really harsh. I guess it gets you out of a situation every now and again, but frankly, it's pretty useless. So, you know, dropping them off other cameras, for me, it's not really going to be a problem. You've then got a various other buttons and dials. You've got a twisty dial here. You've got the on-off button there. You've got a couple of customizable dials there with a lock button. You can actually lock this so that you don't turn it by mistake. You've got the selector mode here, and again, one of the things that everyone seems to be quite pleased about, you've got this dial at the bottom here, so you've got one dial at the top and then another one at the bottom, where you can actually select either a photography mode or indeed some of the video modes here. So that one's in video and that one's in photography, and the menus are context sensitive as well. So if you set up some menus for photography and you set a number of different settings, if you turn it to video, you can set up a completely different set of settings for video. So you just turn this knob and it just picks up some different settings. And of course, you can either have this screen so that it's live there, or if you want, put it in your bag, you can turn it over and it's nice, good protection there. What I'm probably going to get for this, because I just like doing this, I'm probably going to get one of those Gorilla Glass type protectors to go over here, because it's just nice to protect it all. So that's sort of the camera. So to fire it all up, what we're going to do is build it first of all, and the first thing we're going to do is put the lens on. So this is the Tamron 20-200. We'll just loosen that first of all. We'll just loosen that. And this is where you've got to learn the new camera. And the first thing I've learned, it twists the opposite way to Nikon cameras. So this one from the front goes clockwise, the Nikon ones go anti-clockwise. So there's a lens. It feels quite good. I mean, it's a weight, it's a chunk. I probably should get the scales out. In fact, I'll put that at the bottom of the video, how heavy this actually is, because the battery's got to go in yet. But it's holdable, it's fine, it's not a problem. The next thing we're going to put in is the CF Express. So this is a little lock switch here, just pulls forward and flips up. CF Express card, UK, it's about £200 in money, and that's at the end of 2021. This is an 80 gig one, so it's not the largest by any means, but 80 gig is quite a lot of data. It's the read and write speeds that are just phenomenal. So the write speed is 700 megabits a second, which is over twice that, as far as I'm aware anyway, of the fast SD cards. So we just pop that in, just like SD cards, it just clicks down with a little positive latch. So that's that in there. The last thing we need to do is just pop the battery in. And this is the first time I've done this, so I've no idea if there's any charge in here. So we're going to find out in a minute. If not, we'll come back, and we'll just flip the screen around so that we can see what's happening. This is the first power on, and I'm sharing it with you. There we go. So we'll choose a language. I'm going to choose English. There's French, Dutch, and I guess many others as well. Date and time. Oh, that's quite nice. So you just move it across. So we get Lisbon and London. I just select that. We'll have day, month, year because we're in the UK. And the date is the 30th of the 11th, 2021. And the time is, what is the time? The time is 16:41. So it wants me, it's imaging edge, so it wants me to register this. We will register that later. And there we have it. So let's take the front off the camera. And there we go, the first pictures. So the first thing I do is take the lock switch off the lens, and we just zoom in a little. There we go. And I haven't formatted the card, so I guess I better do that as well. I think I'll stop it there and find out how to do this. Okay, so what I've done, I set up the little mini charger that you get with the camera, plugged it in the USB-C and set it on charge, so we got power directly into the camera here. So what we're going to do is format the CF Express, and what we've learned already, if there's not a lot of power in the battery, it won't do it. So if we press the menu, media, we go to format, and it's slot 1 we want to do, which is the CF Express. We'll do a full format, but we'll see how long it's going to take. So I actually stopped the video there, not knowing how long it's going to take. It must have taken a good 10 seconds, I reckon, so that's not too long at all, is it really? So if we go back to the plot there, we were going to take a photo, and I guess there's a database on there, cards all formatted, and the way it's going to work. Oh, it's terrible when you get a new camera because you really don't know how to work it, do you? You've got to read the manual. Anyway, there we go. Oh, look at that. Touch and hold. Figured it out. What a lovely sharp video, photograph. Let me take another one over here, which is a sign of the times. So I'll do a bit of zoom on. Okay, so you won't be able to see this terribly clearly, but these are rapid antigen test kits. So we've got a couple of these in the house. We test ourselves every now and again, especially when we're going somewhere, or whether we think we're feeling a bit under the weather. But that's a super zoom. I mean, that is crystal solid clear. So my first impressions of the camera are, I don't know how to use it. The second impression is, it takes stunningly clear pictures. And I love this touchscreen, very Nikon-esque. So some of you have had one of these cameras before, a Sony camera before. The touchscreens weren't that versatile, so they only touch for some functions. But what we're seeing here is it seems to be a fairly Nikon, I guess Canon as well, type touchscreen, where you can use it for many different purposes, setting menu options, pinch and zoom, and various other things. So there we go, we've powered it up, we've taken its first couple of photos, which aren't terribly exciting, but nevertheless they illustrate the point that it fires up and works. Oh, and by the way, I've just noticed on the bottom of here, for those of you interested, the camera is made in China. I don't know whether that's a good or a bad thing. I think Chinese manufacturing has come on leaps and bounds over the last 10 or 20 years, and I'm thoroughly looking forward to putting this camera through its paces. Anyway, thanks for watching, I really appreciate it. If you've liked this video, please like and subscribe. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. It's been great seeing you again, and look forward to the next video. Cheerio, bye bye.